I think it's so interesting as we start to unpack what procrastination is, because from what I'm hearing from you, a lot of it has to do with like purpose. And what I'm hearing from Zach, a lot of it has to do with almost like task management, where the why is there, but how do you execute on the why? And so it's kind of fun because it looks like it's happening in stages, right? And I love theory of basically anything. And I heard this story once, and I don't know how legitimate it is. So for our listeners, sorry about it, but I think it's going to be entertaining anyways.
Fact check.
Yeah. I love that. I love that there's going to be a little pop-up at the bottom that says independent fact checker said Chad was wrong. He is wrong. Anyway, so I heard this story that there was a little girl who kept getting in trouble in class. And she was being a little disruptive. She's being a little fidgety. She wasn't doing her assignments. And then the teacher finally reached out to her mom. And by the way, this was back in maybe, I don't know, the 1920s, 1930s. It was a while ago. And the teacher reached out to the mom and said, "Hey, I think we should talk about your daughter. She's being disruptive and her grades aren't good. I think your daughter may have a learning disability." And of course, every mom would be like, "Oh no." Like it's almost like that TikTok meme thing, like, "Oh no," right? And I feel like, so the mom set up an appointment with a counselor, like a health counselor. And then the mom is sitting there with her daughter talking to the counselor, and the daughter just has, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see what I'm doing right now, but the daughter was sitting on her hands and tapping her feet on the ground. And then eventually the counselor said to the little girl, he said, "Hey, I'm going to go talk to your mom outside for a few minutes. Is that okay?" And she said, "Yeah." So he turned on some music and then he walked outside, and immediately the mom went to say, like, "So what do you think's wrong?" He's like, "Shh." He shushed her. And then he gave it a beat, and then he pointed inside, and the daughter was up dancing to the music. And he said, "Ma'am, your daughter doesn't have a learning disability. Your daughter's a dancer. That same little girl went to write the choreography for Cats, and she opened up a dance school, and she's inspired millions with her work." But
Wow.
if they would have handed her an ADHD pill and said, "Deal with it," she might have not done that. And so when you're able to have people encourage your purpose and your why and help you create actionable steps, like what Zach was saying, I think that's what's so important to deal with procrastination. Is you need a little bit of both. You need the why, like Simon Sinek, you start with why, but then you have to finish it. And so I think it's so fun to even talk about this topic, because for me, I learned that I can do things last minute. And that bothers me. I don't know if you've ever done that, like editing YouTube videos, or for me in college.
It's like, the deadline's tomorrow. Let's just do it now.
Yeah. And like, it's almost like I hit another gear, and like I can execute it and get it done. But the amount of stress I experience in that moment, it's just not fun. And I'm like, I have a week to work on this paper. Why don't I just do like half a page a day?
Yeah.
No, it really is interesting to see why we do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it is so interesting. Procrastination is like a weird thing that's really hard to pinpoint for sure.
So as we're thinking about this, sorry to interrupt you again.
Yeah,
I'm like Mr. Interrupter. No, knock.
Dude, you're fine.
I've been
Who's there?
Interrupting cow.
Moo.
So I'm so sorry. Zach's like so embarrassed for me right now.
He's like, thank goodness I'm not there in person.
Yeah. He threw up in his mouth a little bit.
Thank you guys so much for watching this clip. We appreciate it so much. And if you could leave a like and subscribe to the channel, that would help out so much. And if you want to listen to the full podcasts, just head over to the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.